Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the Abundance book by John Randolph Price. And we are on day 3.
Right. This is the 40-day prosperity plan.
The statement is, I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. We're going to take it sentence by sentence. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I say that because as is italicized. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. What does that bring to mind for you?
That tells me that the God within me is my lavish abundance. And lavish to me is more than I can imagine. Just overwhelming abundance.
Over the top, rich, extravagant.
Right. Unimaginable, good, and more than enough of everything. And to know that that comes from inside instead of out there somewhere. I don't have to go searching for it. I have to go searching for it.
Are you conscious of that?
More so now than ever, because I've been studying this, quite a while now.
So how did you become conscious of it then?
Studying this, mostly. That studying this brought it to my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I had that awareness, looking around me to see, oh yeah, this is really true. This is really coming from the inside, not the outside. My circumstances have changed out here only because my life has changed in here. And the more I change in here, then the more this changes out here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a matter of working harder on the stuff out here. It's a matter of working smarter on the stuff in here.
Yeah.
And the more time I seem to spend on this kind of stuff, the more I don't have to spend on this kind of stuff.
Well, I've noticed that the more time we spend on working on the inner, ours together and ours separately, the more time we spend on this work, the more this out here in our outer life works better.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we don't have to work as hard on that. That's what I'm saying. The more time I spend here, the less time I have to spend out here.
Right.
Working on income-producing stuff.
Mm-hmm. I am conscious of the constant activity of this, and it's capitalized, M, mind.
The constant activity of this mind. Well,
of infinite prosperity.
I think of capital M, mind, is another word for God.
Mm-hmm. Infinite prosperity is capitalized. Well, prosperity is capitalized too.
So read it again.
So it says, I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity.
Do you want my phone? Or do you want me to answer?
You probably should answer it because...
Where were we?
Sorry. Okay, so we were talking about, I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind, capital M mind, of infinite prosperity.
The mind of infinite prosperity. I was saying, I believe that is another name for God, obviously, and again, I believe we have collective consciousness, and we're all in this one mind, or knowledge, or knowledge bank, so to speak. As one of us grows, we all grow at different rates, and not all together, but the overall knowledge of the universe.
And as an individual in the mind of God, it is important for me to become aware of my activity because I am part of the collective. And so, even though I don't think so, my activities do have an impact on the collective mind. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Maybe not a direct impact, but an indirect impact. And, things are contagious. When I think of something and tell you about it, then it changes you. In some small way, it changes you. And then you talk to somebody else, it changes them.
It changes them, right. So we're all
one, and we're all connected. And I don't, to take it one step further, I don't think we necessarily have to talk about it. But once I know something, it changes the whole.
No, because it changes your actions too.
Right.
And so it's going to change those who are acting and
Right.
interacting with you.
It's like a domino thing.
Yeah. So he says, therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. So by becoming conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance, and then becoming aware of the activity of that, he says, therefore my consciousness is filled with the light of truth, and the light and truth are being capitalized there.
Well, I think once we realize that everything's working together all the time for my good, and that once I'm aware of that, and once I know that and believe it, and understand how that works, then my actions show that.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore it spreads to everybody else. So once I change my beliefs, then that has an effect on everybody else because of the way I respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was that last part again about the therefore?
Therefore my consciousness is filled with the light of truth.
Right, I think nothing's hidden from us. And once we realize that everything's working together for my good, then there's nothing hidden from us.
Right.
We know all there is to know. We're just going to get our crap out of the way.
Well, when we say light of truth, or when he says light of truth, that's an aspect of God. But when we think of light, we think of no darkness,
right.
but an illumination of
right.
the things that we only thought were hidden.
Right. There is no darkness. It's just an absence of light.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, in my mind, there is no evil. There's just an absence of good.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So there's, you know, the light of the truth means nothing's hidden from us.
No. Well,
we can know it all.
What possibilities does that open up when you know that all knowledge is stored not way high away and way far away, and if I do enough of the right things that I might get an audience with, not only there but right here within me. I carry all of that with me.
Right. And it was there all along.
Mm-hmm.
It's as we were studying in the other book, the Master Key System, we talked about an unfoldment instead of appealing or adding to. It's an unfoldment, and so it's all there. We just have to discover it.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to have more of that light
Mm-hmm.
so that we know the truth.
Right. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Isn't it? Thanks.
Yeah. Shrink.
Shrink.